If your blood sugar tends to spike after meals, I want to tell you something that surprises many older adults the first time they hear it. One of the most effective things you can do may not begin in the kitchen at all. It may begin the moment you stand up from the table, not with a punishing workout, not with an expensive gadget, not with fear, just one simple move. Because after 60, 70, or even 80, what hurts blood sugar control is not only what you eat, it's also what happens after you eat. And that quiet window right after a meal may matter far more than most people realize. I'm Dr. Thomas Reynolds, and in this video, I want to explain how one simple movement after meals may help lower blood sugar faster, why it works inside the body, why it can be especially valuable for older adults, and how to do it safely so it supports your energy, your balance, your heart, and your long-term independence. And please stay with me, because the move itself is simple, but the timing, the pace, and the common mistakes around it can make the difference between a helpful habit and a missed opportunity. The move I'm talking about is this: a short walk after meals. That's it. A calm, steady, intentional walk after eating. Now, before you dismiss that because it sounds too simple, let me say this clearly. Simple does not mean weak. In medicine, some of the most powerful tools are the ones people overlook because they don't sound dramatic. But the body is not impressed by drama. The body responds to physiology. It responds to signals. And a short walk after a meal sends exactly the kind of signal that may help many older adults handle blood sugar more effectively. If you've ever looked at your lab work and felt anxious, if you've been told your A1C is creeping up, if you feel sleepy, heavy, shaky, or foggy after meals, if diabetes runs in your family, or if you simply want to age with more strength and less dependence, this habit is worth understanding. Because blood sugar is not just a number on a lab report. It touches your nerves, your eyes, your kidneys, your circulation, your energy, your sleep, your brain, and over time, your ability to stay steady and in control of your daily life. That is why this matters. Now let's begin with what actually happens after you eat. When you finish a meal, especially one with carbohydrates, your digestive system starts breaking that food down into smaller pieces, including glucose, which is a form of sugar your body uses for energy. That glucose moves into your bloodstream. In response, your body releases insulin, a hormone that works like a key. Its job is to help move that sugar out of the blood and into your cells where it can be used. That is how the system is supposed to work. But as we get older, that system often becomes less efficient. Muscles may be less active. Insulin sensitivity may decline. Weight may shift toward the abdomen. Sleep may worsen. Stress may rise. Some people are less active after retirement. Others are taking medications that affect glucose. And many older adults simply don't process meals the way they did at 35. So instead of blood sugar rising and settling smoothly, it rises higher, stays up longer, and causes more stress inside the body. Think of it like traffic after a big event. If the roads are open and the lights are working well, cars flow out steadily. But if the signals are slow, the lanes are blocked, and no one is directing movement, traffic piles up. That is what a blood sugar spike can be like. Glucose is the traffic. Insulin is the traffic signal, and movement helps open the roads. This is exactly why walking after meals can be so helpful. When you walk, your muscles start working right away. And working muscles act like a sponge for glucose. They begin pulling sugar out of the bloodstream and using it for energy. That means some of the glucose from your meal gets redirected into motion instead of sitting around in the blood at higher levels for longer than necessary. In plain English, your muscles help clean up the traffic. They give that extra sugar somewhere useful to go. And here is the beautiful part. This effect may happen even with light to moderate walking. You do not need to jog. You do not need to sweat heavily. You do not need to earn the benefit through suffering. You simply need to move at the right time with enough consistency to give your body a better chance to manage what you just ate. That is why this one simple move can be so valuable after meals. But there is an important misunderstanding here. Many people think, if walking is good, I'll just exercise hard once a day and that will take care of everything. Not exactly. General exercise is excellent. It matters tremendously. But the period after meals is its own special window. That is the moment when glucose is entering the blood more actively. So a short walk during that window may be especially effective because it matches the body's needs in real time. It's not just movement, it's movement with timing. And after 70, timing often becomes more important than intensity. Now let's talk about why this matters so much for seniors in particular. When blood sugar stays elevated too often, it doesn't just cause future problems you might worry about someday. It can affect how you feel now. It may contribute to post-meal fatigue. It may increase inflammation. It may worsen the heavy, sleepy feeling some people get after lunch or dinner. Over time, poorly controlled blood sugar can damage the tiny blood vessels and nerves throughout the body. That can affect your feet, your vision, your kidneys, your heart, your brain, your balance. So when we talk about lowering blood sugar after meals, we are not just talking about being healthy. We are talking about protecting your ability to walk confidently, think clearly, heal properly, sleep better, and remain independent. That's the real stakes here. And that is why a short walk after meals deserves much more respect than it gets. Now you may be wondering, how long should I walk? For many older adults, even 10 minutes after a meal can be a meaningful place to start. That may not sound like much, but do not underestimate it. 10 minutes after breakfast, 10 minutes after lunch, 10 minutes after dinner. That could add up to 30 minutes of useful movement in a day, broken into very manageable pieces. And for many seniors, that approach works better than trying to force one long session that feels overwhelming, exhausting, or unrealistic. If 10 minutes feels too much at first, start with 5. Yes, 5. Because a short walk done consistently is better than a perfect plan you never follow. And if you are already active, you may extend that walk to 15 or 20 minutes if it feels safe and comfortable. But the goal is not to turn this into a fitness competition. The goal is to smooth the blood sugar rise after eating and give your muscles a chance to help. Now let me explain something else older adults often find encouraging. You do not have to walk fast for this to matter. A steady pace is enough. You should be able to breathe comfortably. You should feel like you are moving with purpose. You should not feel like you are punishing yourself. This is not about exhaustion. It is about metabolic support. Imagine you just put wood into a fireplace. If you open the airflow properly, the fire burns more cleanly and efficiently. That's what this gentle movement does. It helps your body use the fuel from your meal in a more orderly way. Now, what is the best time to start walking after a meal? In many cases, beginning within about 10 to 30 minutes after eating may be helpful. That's because this is often when blood sugar is beginning to rise. Again, the exact timing does not need to be obsessive. You do not need to stare at a clock and panic. But getting up reasonably soon after eating, instead of sitting for a long time, may make a real difference. This is especially important because one of the biggest hidden problems in older adults is the meal chair cycle. You eat, you sit, you stay seated. Then your body has to deal with that meal without much help from your muscles. And if that pattern repeats day after day, year after year, it quietly works against you. Now let me be very clear. I am not saying you should walk if you feel faint, weak, unstable, or ill right after eating. Safety comes first, and if you are on insulin or medications that can cause low blood sugar, you need to be thoughtful and discuss this with your physician, because your response can differ from someone else's. But for many older adults, the simple act of getting up and walking after a meal may be one of the most practical tools they have. If this is already giving you a new way to think about your health, I'd love for you to leave a comment and tell me your age and whether you've ever noticed feeling sleepy or sluggish after meals. You'd be surprised how many other people in this community are dealing with the same thing. And sometimes just seeing that you're not alone can be powerful. Now let's talk about what kind of walk works best. The best post-meal walk is usually steady, safe, and sustainable. That might mean walking around your block, walking down the hallway if you live in an apartment building, walking through your house and yard, walking at a mall, walking with a spouse, walking with a cane or walker if you need one. What matters is that you are up and moving. You do not get extra credit for making it harder than it needs to be. In fact, one of the most common mistakes I see is older adults trying to do too much too soon because they feel motivated for a few days. Then their knees flare up, their hips get sore, their back tightens, or they get discouraged and stop completely. That is not the goal. The goal is to make this habit so realistic that it becomes part of your life. After breakfast, I walk. After lunch, I move. After dinner, I don't collapse into the chair immediately. That rhythm matters. And here's something else that makes this habit especially useful. It may help not just with sugar, but with digestion and energy too. Many people find that gentle movement after meals helps reduce that stuffed and sleepy feeling. It may help food move through the system a little more comfortably. It may help reduce the sluggishness that makes the rest of the day feel harder. And for older adults who struggle with stiffness, getting up soon after eating may prevent the body from settling into inactivity for hours. That is important because inactivity has a way of spreading. One sedentary hour becomes 3. One quiet afternoon becomes a habit. A habit becomes a lifestyle. And then the body begins adapting in the wrong direction. Less stamina, less insulin sensitivity, less balance, less confidence. So yes, this is about blood sugar, but it is also about protecting the larger system. Now let's deal with a question many viewers may be thinking. What if I can't walk well? That is a real question, and it deserves a respectful answer. Not every older adult can walk easily. Some are limited by arthritis, neuropathy, balance problems, back pain, lung disease, stroke history, or severe weakness. If that's you, please do not hear this message as condemnation. Hear it as a principle. The principle is to use gentle post-meal movement if you safely can. If walking is difficult, even standing up and doing light marching in place, moving around the kitchen, performing seated leg movements, or doing a few minutes of guided chair-based movement may still be better than staying completely still. The body still responds to muscle activity. The goal is to recruit those muscles in whatever safe way is available to you. But if walking is possible, even slowly, it remains one of the simplest and most accessible choices. Now let me tell you the 5 biggest mistakes people make with this habit. The first is waiting too long. If you eat a big meal, then sit for an hour and a half before moving, you may miss part of the window when that extra glucose is entering the blood more actively. Some movement later is still better than none, but earlier may be more helpful. The second mistake is walking too hard. You are not trying to prove toughness. If the walk is so intense that you feel strained, dizzy, or miserable, that's not wise, especially after eating. Gentle and steady usually wins here. The third mistake is assuming the walk cancels out anything. It doesn't. A post-meal walk may help. It does not give anyone a free pass to eat large amounts of sugar, refined carbohydrates, or oversized meals without consequence. The walk is support, not magic. It works best as part of a larger pattern of sensible eating, medication adherence when prescribed, hydration, sleep, and regular medical follow-up. The fourth mistake is inconsistency. Doing this once after a heavy meal and then forgetting about it for the next 2 weeks is not how you get results. The power is in repetition. Daily signals, daily muscle use, daily support. And the fifth mistake is ignoring red flags. If your blood sugars are very high, if you have chest pain, if you become dizzy, if you feel faint, if you have severe shortness of breath, or if you have diabetic foot problems or wounds that make walking unsafe, you need medical guidance, calm guidance, personalized guidance, not guesswork, because this habit is helpful, but it must fit the person. Now let's talk about what changes many older adults may notice when they do this consistently. Some people first notice that they feel less sleepy after meals. Others notice they are less bloated, less sluggish, less mentally foggy. Some notice that their glucose readings after meals begin to look better when they check them regularly. Over time, some may notice better daily energy, improved stamina, a little more confidence in their body, and a stronger sense that meals no longer flatten them the way they used to. That matters because one of the most demoralizing feelings in later life is the sense that ordinary daily activities are becoming harder for mysterious reasons. When you begin identifying causes and responding to them with simple, effective habits, you restore something very precious: agency. You stop feeling like a passenger in your own body. You start becoming a participant again, and that shift is powerful. If you're getting value from this, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. This channel is here to help older adults protect their health with calm, practical advice that supports independence, dignity, and long-term quality of life. Now I want to give you a very simple plan you can begin using. For the next 7 days, choose one meal a day, just one. After that meal, wait a few minutes, then go for a 10-minute walk. Not a dramatic walk, not a painful walk, a calm, steady walk. If that feels good after several days, try it after 2 meals. If you're already doing well, try all 3. And if 10 minutes feels too much, start with 5 and build. This is how real health habits are built in older adults. Not by being intimidated, not by being shamed. By starting where you are and repeating something useful often enough that the body begins the benefit. Now, I also want to be honest about something. A walk after meals may help lower blood sugar faster, but fast in medicine should be understood wisely. This is not an instant cure. It is not a miracle trick. It is a physiologic advantage. It helps the body handle the meal better in real time. And when used consistently, that may support better overall control. That is the mature, truthful way to think about it. No hype, no false promises, just smart biology. And after 60, 70, or 80, smart biology is exactly what we want. Because healthy aging is not built on extreme measures. It is built on repeatable ones. A short walk after a meal may seem small, but small things, repeated daily, can change the entire direction of a person's health. Better sugar control may help protect your nerves. Better sugar control may help protect your kidneys. Better sugar control may help protect your vision. Better sugar control may help protect your circulation. And when those systems are better protected, your mobility, your clarity, and your independence are better protected too. That is why I care so much about this one simple move. It's not just a trick for numbers. It's a habit that supports the life behind the numbers. So if you've been worried about blood sugar, let this encourage you. You do not have to solve everything today. You do not need a perfect body. You do not need an extreme routine. You need one smart step, then another, then another. Stand up after the meal. Move your muscles. Help your body do what it was designed to do. And let that become part of the way you care for yourself now. Because growing older does not mean giving up your influence. It means using it more wisely. And some of the wisest changes are also the simplest. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this message helped you, leave a comment and tell me whether you're going to try a post-meal walk this week. And if you want more practical guidance on blood sugar, energy, mobility, and healthy aging, subscribe and keep learning with me. Your future is not built all at once. It's built step by step. And sometimes one simple move really can make a meaningful difference.